All right, let's talk about one of those things in software that can either be a total dream to work with or an absolute nightmare, and that's API design. Today, we're going to figure out what separates the good from the bad and how to get from chaos to clarity.
I think every developer has had this exact moment. You're trying to use a new API, you open up the docs, and it's just a mess. Nothing makes sense. This quote right here, that's the sound of pure developer frustration.
And look, this isn't some made-up exaggerated example. This is real life. So many APIs, especially ones that have just kind of grown organically over time, end up looking exactly like this. It's a total jumble of inconsistent names and random patterns.
And this kind of chaos, man, it's not just a little annoying. It has real costs. Think about it. Developers are wasting hours just guessing what to call. What should take a day to integrate stretches into a week. And your support team, they're just drowning in tickets asking the same basic questions again and again.
So, what's the fix? Is there a better way? You bet there is. There's a set of really simple but powerful conventions that were designed to solve this exact problem. And that is the promise of REST. It's all about bringing some order to that chaos.
So what exactly is REST? Well, first off, it's not some new programming language or a framework you have to download. It's more like a philosophy, a set of rules for the road that, if you follow them, make your API predictable, intuitive, and just way, way easier for everyone to use.
Okay, if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this golden rule. It changes everything. When you're designing your URLs, you need to think in nouns, not verbs.
And this slide just nails it. On the left, you've got the before picture. See how the actions, the verbs, are crammed right into the URL? It's messy. Now look at the right. So much cleaner. The URL is just the thing we're talking about, the noun, /users. And the action? Well, that's handled by the standard HTTP method. The URL is the what, and the method is the how.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. That seems like such a tiny change. How can that possibly make such a big difference? Well, it's because it creates a predictable system. Let me show you with a really simple analogy.
Let's imagine your API is a restaurant. Seriously, stick with me here. This makes perfect sense when you think about it. It's a great way to understand how all these pieces fit together.
So check this out. The menu items, the stuff you can order, those are your API's resources. They're the nouns, like /users or /products. And the waiter, their actions, like showing you the menu, taking your order, maybe changing it. Those are your HTTP verbs, get, post, you get the idea. And the kitchen, doing all the work in the back, that's your server. See? It's a clean, simple system where everyone knows exactly what their job is.
All right, so once you really get that noun versus verb thing in your head, it becomes so much easier to spot and avoid the most common mistakes people make. Let's run through the top 3.
Okay, number 1, and we've kind of hit on this already, but it is by far the most common mistake, putting verbs in your URLs. Things like search products or calculate shipping.
Here's what that looks like in practice. The wrong way is to have an endpoint like /search products. The right way is to go to the main resource, the noun, /products, and then just filter it with a query parameter. It's so much more flexible and keeps your API clean.
All right, mistake number 2. This one is super tempting, especially when you're in a hurry. Being lazy with your HTTP status codes. It's just so easy to send back a 200 OK for everything.
You've probably seen this before. The API returns a 200 OK, which means everything's fine, but then inside the response it says success false. That's confusing. It breaks the whole system. You gotta use the right codes for the job. 400 for bad request, 201 for when you create something new. These codes exist for a reason. Let's use them.
And the last one, this is a mistake that you won't feel today, but oh boy will you feel it 6 months from now, and that's not versioning your API from day one.
It's so easy to just start with /API/users, but then what happens when you need to change how users work in a way that will break existing integrations? You're trapped. If you just start with /API/v1/users right from the get-go, you've given yourself an escape hatch. You can always introduce a /v2/later without wrecking everything for your current users.
So why does all this matter? Is this just about making things look neat and tidy? Absolutely not. Getting this right has a massive, real-world impact on your developers, your business, and your entire product.
First off, let's talk about the people who actually have to use these things, developers. The data is pretty clear.
A huge majority, like 70%, prefer working with REST APIs. And it's simple, right? When things are predictable, your job is easier. You can build faster and with fewer headaches.
And for the business side of things, this is huge. A good API can literally cut the time it takes to integrate with your service in half. That's getting to market faster, that's closing deals faster. It's a massive win.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Look at the biggest names out there. Stripe, GitHub, Shopify. Their entire ecosystems are built on the back of well-designed REST APIs. It's literally the engine that powers the modern internet.
So let's boil it all down. What are the key takeaways here? It's really simple. Consistency is everything. Your URLs are for things, nouns. Your HTTP methods are for actions, verbs. And maybe most importantly, remember that good API design is really all about having empathy for the developer on the other end.
I'll leave you with this little challenge. The next time you're using an app on your phone and you see that little loading spinner, just take a second and try to guess what the API call might look like behind the scenes. Now that you know the pattern, you'll start seeing it everywhere.